running back in NFL history. It's Saquon Barkley, 2-year, $41 million extension. Schefter noting that the Eagles are making the rare move of extending Saquon after only 1 year into his contract. He exceeded expectations when you look at his 1 year in Philly versus 6 years with the Giants. Brew, do you like this move by Philadelphia?
I love it. I mean, and Philadelphia seems to have money that no other teams have.
Yeah,
I mean, but Nick's talked to us about it. Like, you know, they're going to have to pay it back later. But this is
now's
about
the time to go for
right.
it. Yep, that's right.
And I do think some of this is a reward, and I'm glad for. What more could he have done? He may have been able to break the rushing record had you allowed him. You won a Super Bowl. I think he's going to come back next year and have a great year. And I'm excited to see, like, I just wish he had been with a team like this early in his career, because who knows what he would have done rather than be with the Giants. But I'm happy for him, and I'm also, Coach, happy for other running backs, though, because we know last year the market was really depressed for the backs. A bunch of them came out and had great years. And I'm glad to see Saquon get paid, and hopefully some of these other guys do too.
Yeah, I love this for Saquon, and the fact that he was willing to sit when he could have pushed to try to get the record. I mean, he seems like a great guy, a selfless guy. Love this for the Eagles. I think it's a great message to the rest of the league in terms of what type of organization they are, to go ahead and pay someone proactively, where usually it's, you know, guys are fighting to get this done. So I think it's great, and I think, Brew, you nailed it early on, saying that he was going to be this good.
McCaffrey,
yeah. You might need a bonus for picking that out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what he got the extra day
Nick
off.
Nick yelled at me for that.
Listen.
The
Brew obviously did nail this. So can I get philosophical for a moment?
No, let's just.
It'll be good. I think it'll be good. Just give me a second. The audience takes its cues from you. Will you at least pretend to be interested in what I'm about?
You did 2
Okay,
minutes on
I'm
Kendrick
interested
Bourne.
in philosophy as we talk about Saquon.
This is it. I'll land the plane. I promise.
All right, here we go.
So I wish I remember the author that said this, but it's kind of, this quote has kind of become like a leading light in my life, like to try to have a positive outlook, which is never underestimate the awful luck that your bad luck saved you from.
That's good.
So, which is like, whenever something bad happens to you, don't disregard that maybe that bad thing prevented you from something truly awful. So here's why I say it.
That's good.
Saquon was devastated and hurt when the Giants wouldn't extend him and instead franchise tag him. And it was the best thing that ever happened to him. Because had they given him the contract that he wanted, he wouldn't have ever had 2,000 yards. I don't think it was possible with that Giants team. The whole world wouldn't have seen how great he can be, and he wouldn't have ever gotten close to $20 million a year. So, like, in a weird way, Joe Shane did him a solid, unintentionally, and like, this ended up being the best thing that happened to him was the Giants screwing that up 2 years ago. And so
and he wouldn't be a
potential Hall of Famer. No, any of those things. And I also like the fact that there's now a $20 million a year running back, which, you know, kind of sets the new standard of what that position can get.
Oh, Cormac McCarthy, Hubs is telling me.
That's who it was?
Yeah.
Wrote The Road?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Wow. I think he also wrote, what else? Did he write
wrote a lot.
No Country for Old Men? Yeah.
Yes.
He wrote a lot.
It
The
still
newest
has
book, though?
levels.
Yeah.
It still has
The new 2 books, though, I hate to say it.
He's not as good. But that quote's awesome.
The
Honest
quote's
to God.
awesome, but the 2 books I like reading.
Okay, book club, buddy. Save that for your podcast.
You're doing philosophy.
And it was
You're
brilliant.
like, there's a philosopher.
It was great. Tweet that out by itself, Gian.
No, don't do that. Jamar Chase reportedly looking to reset the non-QB salary market. Diana Rossini writing that an offer has been made by Cincinnati, but the two sides are far apart. Here's Jamar's numbers in his first 4 years. Tied for 4th with catches, 3rd with receiving yards, and has 46 touchdowns. That's 3rd. Coach will start with
And those ranks are not amongst current players. That's of all players since the merger.
Yeah. Coach?
Yeah, to me, it's going to get done. It's just a matter of how quickly they can get it done. Is he going to be the highest paid player outside of the quarterbacks? Yeah, he should. And it's going to be interesting to see if this thing gets dragged out in Cincinnati fashion. I think everybody can agree that he deserves this money. Now let's quickly get to whatever that number is so so that the Bengals can move on and hopefully be productive at the start of the season as opposed to what we've seen in the past.
I think that number's 40 million plus. I think that's what he's going for. And if I'm him, I'm like, that's what you're going to pay me. He's coming off a fantastic season. The quarterback loves him. They got this special relationship. Like, they have to pay him, and he should take no less. And, Coach, this is just an example of why you pay a guy. If you know that this is a guy you're keeping, you need to pay him earlier rather than later. They could have got him for 35.
Well,
right?
No, they could have got him for, I think,
less.
32 if they'd have done it at the beginning of this time last year. Listen, if they're going to keep him, then they need to sign him before Micah signs.
Yes. Like now.
Micah, what does it say? Non-quarterback.
It just feels like.
No, he wants to be. They both want to be the highest paid non-quarterback ever. They both do. Right? Like, by the way, it was the Nicky Bosa contract that Justin Jefferson based his. You know what I mean? So, like, there's real precedent for that.
And the danger in this is the longer you wait, the market keeps resetting.
Correct.
And it's like you could have got it cheaper a week ago.
Yeah.
Now you're paying.
But I wouldn't keep them both.
They should trade the franchise.
Well, man,
you might trade Jamar?
I said this yesterday. Jamar Chase at $40 million a year, or keep T and get a second round pick for T Higgins, or get T Higgins for $28 to $30 million a year and get the Tyreek Hill package for Jamar Chase.
Well, I do think that's a decision, though, you have to bring Joe Burrow in on.
Talk to Burrow. What I wrote is I'd trade one of them and I'd talk to Burrow.
Well, I'll tell you what Joe Burrow's going to say. No. You don't need to talk to Joe Burrow. Hey, we're going to trade one of your good friends.
If it's an either-or type thing, at least you have the discussion. And there is a business component to it, too. Like, I'm sure Joe Burrow wants to.
That to defend whoever he's going to do. There is one thing I need to know. If you've been ruled out for the season, like Wemby or Embiid, you're not on the Hill. Okay. Sadly, it means the next iteration of the Hill, Kyrie will be off. But Kyrie, we had built the Hill, whatever, the Kyrie news came down, and also he deserves to be on it because he got hurt last night. It's a 45-person hill, so we will go quick through the bottom few rows. 9th row, bottom of the hill mainstay, Franz. Don't call me
love
Mo
Franz Wagner.
I think he's excellent. He's excellent.
Very good.
Paolo Banchero, his teammate, he kind of a rough offensive season for Orlando, but that's fine. Siakam, Scotty Barnes, Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine, another couple teammates. Zion quietly is playing well.
Yeah.
Like, you still worry about, he's only played 20-some games this year, but he's playing well. Wilds guy Chet, and then Kawhi kind of, due to pedigree, I guess, would be one, because he hasn't played well at all.
He's had moments.
Yeah, he had a really big game the other night, but he is more of like, could he maybe put a playoff series together? All right, 8th row. Jimmy Butler, again, that is some pedigree. John Morant, at this point, John's a coin flip to play.
Well, that's the problem.
I mean, and so he's not quite as explosive when he does play. He doesn't play quite as often. James Harden's having a good year. I have to give him credit. He's been, I know there's a ton of, actually, the Norman Powell stands only existed for one day and one day only as a chance to take a shot at LeBron. But he's been the best player on that Clippers team, in my opinion. Evan Mobley, 3rd best player on a team that is going to win 60-some games.
He could be the best player in the league in the future.
Oh, yeah, that's what the GM said. Or the players. LaMelo Ball, Rudy Gobert, tough to place, but still one of the